I'm more concerned with the human condition and how we can improve it. That's the question. The answer? Evolve. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes. Greetings, Columbia, South Carolina, and to everyone who is listening to us via the web. Welcome to Evolve, and I am your host, Tazima. And you know what? I had a different show planned for this evening. I really did. But then I had the opportunity to hear a conversation between two people that I have a lot of respect for. Now, one is African American and the other is Jewish. And I'm mentioning their race for a reason. So just keep that in mind. One is African American and one is Jewish. Okay, so my Jewish friend stated during this conversation that he is colorblind and he doesn't see people's color. My African American friend admitted that she wasn't colorblind and that she does indeed see a person's color or race, if you will. Okay, now what intrigued me about the conversation is I believe both were being truthful. I believe that they were being, forthright and that this was the position that they had. But then I begin to, how is it that one person's reality can consist of seeing no color when another person's does? So then I thought about what some people have called the two Americas. Okay. And I do believe that they exist. Okay. You have Black America and then you have white America. And a lot of different things popped into my head that I'll probably share with you throughout the show. But my question for you guys this evening, and you know what? We're adults, so we can have this conversation. Okay. So my question to you this evening is, do you consider yourself colorblind, or do you see a person's race first? And do you think that either is wrong? In other words, do you think that it's wrong if a person says, well, I'm colorblind, I don't see a person's race? Do you think that's wrong, or do you think it's wrong if a person says, well, you know what? I'm not colorblind, I do see a person's race? So I really want to hear from you guys, okay? Because this is the elephant in the room, and ignoring it doesn't make it go away. We know we got race issues in this country. And that's another question I need to put out there. Why do you think that we are so afraid to talk about race as if it doesn't exist? You know it exists. So anyway, I'm going to give out the telephone number. The telephone number, if you're in Columbia, is 742-1230, 742-1230, and the 800 number is 888-671-7278. And I'm going straight to the phone lines. Okay, caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Tazima. It's Carla. How are you today?
Hey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, and I'm on my way to a Bible study, but I did want to call in and answer this question.
Okay.
I'm not I don't see color when I first meet a person, even though, God gave us eyes and we can see that we have different complexions. Mm-hmm. Okay, but I don't see color because I think that word really applies to prejudice and bias and racism and all that.
So you don't see race?
No, I see us as a human race.
Okay, so you're saying that if you see a black woman and a white woman, that you don't see a black woman or a white woman.
No.
Just see.
No, I said I see our skin. I know that we have lighter skin people, darker skin people. That way, you can't help but see that because God gave us eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying from an internal mental perspective.
Okay.
I do not look at a person based on the color of their skin. So no, I don't see color in that sense.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the twist to that is this. I deal with you as you come as a human being, but then if you start acting like a racist or something like that, then I will see it. Because then you're letting me know that you hate me because of the color of my skin, or I hate you because of the color of your skin, or the grade of your hair, or the size of your nose. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I look at life, and that's how I deal with people.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you for calling before you go into Bible study. I appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right, honey.
Have a good show.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, so I'm going to give out the number one more time before we go into commercial anyway. Well, let me just give out the number, 742-1230, 742-1230 if you're in the Columbia or surrounding areas. And if you're outside of those areas, the 800 number, 888-671-7278, 888-671-7278. You know, the reason why I wanted to have this conversation, like I said in the beginning, is because it seems like we are really afraid in 2011 to talk about it. It's all around us. We see it everywhere. For African Americans, we definitely see it with the treatment of President Barack Obama. You know, and this is the thing. You don't have to tell African American people what's racist. It's like we're wired that way. I don't know if it's a part of our DNA now because of slavery or whatever. But believe me, we know. So we don't need anyone to say, oh, that's not racist or but then you can't just group everybody that is an African American as being suspect. You know, so I really want to have this conversation. Is it possible to be colorblind? You know, do you consider yourself to be colorblind? And maybe I could have used a better word, but that was what the conversation was about that I was hearing. Do you consider yourself to be colorblind, or do you see a person's race first? And do you believe that either is wrong? You know, now, as an African American woman, I think that I can safely say this. You know, African Americans, we have a history in this country of constantly being reminded of the color of our skin. You know, of course, obviously it started during slavery. You know, you start doing the civil rights movement if you lived long enough for that. It was made even more obvious then. And now we see signs of it today. You know, when you remember that, you know, that group of people had to constantly the subliminal messages and the outright obvious messages for coloreds only. You know, sit in the back of the bus. What you doing here, boy? And it's a 65-year-old man. Don't look me in the eyes, girl. We all know the history. And we know that particularly in South Carolina, there is a problem. I don't know what that beeping sound is. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I hope ain't nobody set off no bombs up in here. No, but anyway, we all know that. You know, we know that there are issues with race here. We know that, and yet we are so afraid to talk about it. And I'm sorry, I can't wrap my mind around that. How are we ever going to move beyond it if we don't even want to talk about it? If we're too afraid to talk about it. So one of the things that I do know is an issue when we talk about race is trust and stereotyping. That's a big issue. You know, there's something about the South. When I moved here from D.C., and this is really bothering me. Let me turn this thing down. When I moved here from Washington, D.C., I really didn't have the experience that a lot of people in the South did. And when I came here, I found myself in a situation where it was almost like you had to choose, like you had no choice. And I remember that really blew me away because that wasn't my experience. I didn't grow up having to choose. I had white friends and I had black friends. I had friends. Okay. And it wasn't until I moved to South Carolina that it was just this glaring division that existed, you know, and it was horrible for me. You know, the good thing that I can say, as far as that being a part of my experience, is that it kind of forced me to study and learn about African history as well as African American history. But everything else from that was about me deciding what a person was based solely on the color of their skin.